You may think that you're one of the strong creatures. But you're not. You're one of the weak ones. But you've survived because you've been protected by the strong. But they're not strong anymore.
In the meetings I was having, I was talking about this. I wanted Animal Kingdom to be a big kind of dangerous, dirty crime film, but I wanted it to have a certain beauty and poetry at the same time. And, my experience of it was giving the script to going to people. I mean, people like Jackie and Ben, for instance, I had actually been writing for before I think either of them even knew about it. And I had my experience of it was giving it to people and saying, do you want to be in my movie? And then reading the script and seeing the short and stuff, and then just saying yes. And then that said to me straight away that people were at least responding to the material. So maybe this will work.
It's a long time since David sent me the script, about 5 or 6 years, I think. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought the dialogue was terrific. I thought that the characters were complex and many-layered, and I thought the story was fantastically executed. And I thought, this is great, but I get sent quite a lot of film scripts, and some of them are rubbish, and some of them are quite good. And in my experience, when I say, yeah, I'd love to be associated with this, they say great, and that's the last I hear of it, and next thing I know they're making it with somebody else.
Hope you find the killers.
Did the character of Smurf Cody evolve? Because she's a bit disturbing, isn't she? Did she evolve once you started actually shooting the film?
No, I think she was that mean all right from the start. Yeah, and it was a thrill for me. I mean, I've played villains before. I've been acting for 48 years, and I've had my share of villains, and but it's not the usual thing. Or when we were at Sundance, and we did quite a few Q&As, the Americans thought I was really frightening, which was fabulous. and a couple of the journalists said to me, "Do you specialise in these kind of roles?" And I said, "Well, no, they usually give me the Sally Field parts."
We did a number of things, right? Well, the first day we got there, I ignored James completely. He didn't exist. I wouldn't let him come anywhere near me. I wouldn't let him see me. I called him by a different name. He just was nothing, right? And you've heard a little bit about the stuff between Luke and I. That sort of developed, but he was incredibly painful to me. He found a way to constantly just like really infuriating sort of stuff. So we just started to let ourselves get there. And Sully would get very sulky about things a lot and then kind of explode and run off. But the first day we got there, Davey's never done, we've known each other for years, right? So we know each other as friends before we were lovers, it's just mucking around. You know what I mean? It's mucking around with intent, and trying to make sure that all the good stuff that Davey had was there and rich and rich and rich.
This has got nothing to do with me. Everything has got to do with everyone.
Now you're not in any danger. What do you think we should do?
What's wrong, huh?
What's the mattress?
Done some bad things, sweetie.
Back in the day, armed robbers were the kings of the criminal world, right? Technology started to catch up, made it harder and harder. And then the rise of the drug lord comes up, right? So now the drug lords are the great respected ones, and armed robbery is a bit of a passé sort of thing. So what you're talking about here is a guy that's going into decline. Now, he's clearly not mentally well, He's not equipped to deal with anything except doing his job and being somewhere around his family or in jail.
Luke, a very different character for you. How did you prepare for this role?
Ben Mendelsohn, actually, as much as I like to compliment him. My character was a a very inflicted character from his brothers, and Mendo made sure that that would happen. So in a very, you know, sensible way. You know, it opened up straight away on rehearsals when I got this DVD, and he said, "You should watch it, watch it, watch it." And it was a DVD called Carell, and he goes, "That's your character, that's your character." And I go, "Oh, well, what's my character?" And then he's saying, called me up every day saying, "Have you watched it?" And I go, "Nah." And he goes, "Have you watched it?" And then one day I lied because I felt bad, and I said, "Yeah, I have." And he goes, "Well, nah, you haven't watched it." So I finally watched it. It was a homoerotic DVD with Brad Davis. They're doing drugs and having lots of orgies with men. And then I came back to rehearsals and poor old Jacki Weaver was there and David. And he goes, "You watch it?" I go, "Yeah, what's with that, man? What's that?" "That's your character."
You share with Paul Thomas Anderson a great kickstart from Sundance. Are you a fan of his films? Is they influential at all?
Well, yeah, definitely. Insofar as the other thing I love about his films is that they're the closest cinema comes these days to me to feeling as rich as a great novel, you know. And I always knew I wanted Animal Kingdom to, you know, because in certain ways when you're trying to get the movie made, you know, it's very easy to make it appeal to you know, people with money in a way by saying, okay, it's a crime film and you know, it's going to have thriller elements and all that kind of stuff. But I always knew that I wanted it to work as crime films do in a way, but I wanted it to feel more substantial. I wanted it to feel like rich with you know, almost literary type stuff. But you know, I mean, to what extent I've succeeded, I don't know. But that was my aspiration. My problem with, for instance, almost all cop shows and lawyer shows and stuff on television is how relentlessly humorless they are. You know, they are, which is not true to life. You know, these people, especially when they're living hard lives or dangerous lives or working jobs where they're exposed to trauma, have the blackest senses of humour, and that it manifests all the time. You know, and so I you know, yes, I mean, I don't know that I was ever really necessarily setting out to write gags, but I knew that I wanted these characters to be entertaining and to have senses of humour, even if they were not necessarily aware of their senses of humour themselves. No, everywhere was actually really great. People were very welcoming, and you know, we got to film inside the you know, National Gallery of Victoria, and you know, it felt great. And and it was very important to me that I wanted the film to feel like it kind of happened all over Melbourne, you know, and wasn't just a kind of, so many of the movies I see that are set in Melbourne are just, you know, make Melbourne feel like a kind of cutesy little village of Victorian buildings and ding-dong trams and stuff, you know, and where, you know, Melbourne is a much bigger, badder city than that, and I kind of wanted to capture that somehow.